Hi, welcome to Lana Health Pilates. Welcome to your journey on learning about Pilates and how it can help transform your body, transform your life, and get you back to doing things that you love to do. Today, I just want to go over a few of the common cues that you will hear me talk about in class. This is a good step for just kind of preparing for class. So, first in Pilates, we talk about the powerhouse. The powerhouse comes from your abdominal region, and this is where we get our strength, our balance, our centering. I will be cueing your powerhouse. So when you hear powerhouse, this is your first powerhouse. And another cue that we typically talk about is called neutral spine. So we have our spine, we have our cervical, our thoracic, and then we have our lumbar region. So when you come to a laying position on your mat, I will instruct you about which parts of your back should be touching the mat. I will talk about your sacrum, which is this lower bone sitting in between your pelvis, your tailbone. Not the very tip of the tailbone, but just the back of the tailbone. You will have a natural lordotic curve right here. You'll have a thoracic curve that touches the mat. And I do prefer that your lower ribs touch the mat. Roll your shoulder blades down. You'll have your natural cervical curvature here. And then the back of your head will be on the mat. This is neutral spine. And this is how your spine should feel when you're standing or walking, and also when you're laying down. So neutral spine means just this. I may also talk about the box, where we have a rectangle pretty much from both hips and both shoulder blades and how they connect. So if you're cockeyed, I will say reorganize your box, which will mean for you to set your box straight. Even when you're laying sideways, when you're standing up, you always want to make sure that your box is organized. Corseting your ribs. So a common exercise I will be giving you is to take in a nice big deep breath. And as you exhale, I want you to try to bring these hands together, corseting your ribs together, pulling everything together here. Do it with me, taking a nice big deep breath and blow it all the way out. You'll feel this corset. So that's one other cue that I will typically give during class. Ooh, crown of the head. Crown of the head is just energetically reaching the top of your head to the ceiling. And that helps you sit up straight. It's just more of an energetic term that I use, crown to ceiling. Ooh, collarbones wide. See, what happens is we are so naturally curved in whatever we're doing all day. So if you widen and open up your collarbones here, it gives your body that structure that I'm trying to train it in. So when you walk out of class, you are upright in this open position. Natural pelvis, that's another one. So when you are standing, and just focus on how you're standing. Some people will really tilt their pelvis this way. More about finding this neutral pelvis and training your body in that neutral pelvis and adjusting. So people who have sway backs, who have, we find that somewhat glamorous to have this butt sticking out, when actually that's more of a incorrect, non-neutral pelvis stature. Or you'll have people who really stand with their belly out. So it's more about taking a pelvic bowl, that's what we refer to it, and making sure that you're not spilling water out of the back or of the front and finding a neutral pelvis. So that is one term that I will refer to often. Ooh, and then articulating your spine. So typically when we're doing bridge work, which is a pretty easy exercise, I will talk about articulating your spine. It usually sounds like come all the way lifted. Once you're up, Take a nice big deep breath in and then articulate each vertebrae all the way down. It's more of a slow rolling of a vertebrae, almost like you're dropping each segment down in a pattern and then lifting in a pattern. So articulating the spine is more of a spine movement to lift the belly. I will talk about zippering up, almost like you're going to be putting on those jeans you know that are too small for you. And pulling up and then pulling that zipper all the way up. I also talk about it being an elevator. So pulling, not only bringing your belly button to your spine, pulling it back and then lifting it up. Some people do a Kegel with that as well. If you don't know what that is, we can talk about that on a side note. And then pelvic tilt. Pelvic tilt also goes into that pelvis stability, that pelvic bowl thing I was talking about. It's a very subtle move. And pretty much when you're in neutral spine, you're just going to tilt your pelvic bowl back. We do work with this quite often. So I often visualize it as you have a little blueberry underneath your back and you're moving your back in a way where you're going to smush that blueberry and then come out of it. It's a very subtle motion, but controlling those muscles is what we're gaining access to with Pilates. So that's a few basic main core Pilates cues. Another main one that I do have is lifting your legs up into tabletop. So that's 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here. Arms stretched down by your side. And I will ask you to curl up. And you always want to have an orange space between your chin and your chest. So you will curl up. Gaze will be down at your belly for whatever exercise we're going to do. So this is just curling up, lifting your shoulder blades up off of the mat to engage your abdominals. Tabletop, curled up. Another one that I will use is 90 degrees up to the ceiling. And it doesn't have to be 90 because then you're compromising your spine. It can be more of a 75. It can even be more of a 40. It can be a bent knee 40, whatever's really up to your body at that moment. So 90 degree ceiling is a good one as well. So those are some of the basics. And once we get into more of a class flow, I will be giving more cues and I'll be doing my best to help you feel comfortable in the next series or so. All right. Thank you so much.